TIL Carl Weathers was a retired NFL linebacker who had only done minor acting roles when he auditioned for the part of Apollo Creed in Rocky. He got the role because during the audition, he said Sylvester Stallone wasn't a real actor and Stallone thought it was something Creed would say. For $1,100 he'll teach you everything he's learned in the industry. And how could we forget Chubbs from Happy Gilmore? I have a friend who always says that celebrities are so used to people kissing their ass that the only way to notice by them is to treat them like shit and make fun of them. I'll have to tell him that here's at least one example that backs that up. Now you take this home, throw it in a pot, add some broth, a potato. Baby, you've got a stew going. And Stallone wasn't a real boxer either. Mondo. He's such a treat. Your husband is Carl Weathers. Shit. For the film to work you have to buy Creed. Weathers did a great job selling Creed as an arrogant champ. Unconcerned with his opponent. Why would he be concerned? He backed up his arrogance as he was undefeated and nobody had gone the distance with him. He picked Rocky based on his nickname the Italian Stallion, to better sell the fight. Sounds like a damn monster movie. This is one of my favorite sports movies. The speech he gives to Adrian about not being able to win and all he wants is to last 15 rounds with the champ. Because nobody has done that. Then he'd know he wasn't a loser. The fight goes on and Rocky gets knocked down once again in the 14th, and Mickey is telling him to stay down. Rocky doesn't listen. He has his own agenda. We know he needs to get up. When Rocky struggles to get up, and gets to his feet, I get misty-eyed every time. Triumph of the will of the underdog. Rocky loses in a split decision. But he goes the distance and expresses his love for Adrian. What a great movie. I guess they tried to get him on Dancing with the Stars a few years ago too. He was extremely uninterested. Eye of the Tiger, Stallion. I once read that Stallone wanted to bring Creed back for like a flashback in either Rocky VI or Creed, but Weathers said he wanted to have an actual scene instead. Which doesn't make sense considering what happened to him in Rocky IV. I was at work as a layout artist in a custom crest shop, embroidery, in the early 90s. We did a lot of work with the local film industry as well as commercial and school stuff. The shop was 2 stories, office and art station at street level and sewing room on the 2nd floor. The owner was normally upstairs working and I was left to answer the door if anyone came by, which was rare, so we just kept it locked. So, I'm working away and I hear the buzzer, so I look up to see this huge man standing in the doorway who I immediately recognize. Carl was in town starting production on the TV series, Street Justice. I run to the door, unlock and swing it open with a sweeping arm gesture saying excitedly, "Action Jackson. Come on in." He gives me a little smirk and says, "That's funny. Is your boss in?" That, in all humility, is my Carl Weathers story. His wiki page says he got an BA in drama during his pro football off-season. The story goes, the audition wasn't going well, so Carl said, maybe if the writer was here it would be better. Stallone said, I am the writer. How cool is it that Ali wanted to fight him? All before scamming the Bluth family. Whenever Action Jackson is on I always watch it. During the filming of Predator, Weathers would get up well before the other cast members, work out, and then go back to bed. When people asked him how he remained in shape apparently without working out, he said he was just naturally built that way. I think this is hilarious. Why would Apollo Creed say that Sylvester Stallone isn't a real actor? He actually did a few war movies well before Rocky. Put that till in a pot and you got a stew going. Wasn't ready to settle down for a quiet career pushing papers. And now the CIA's got him pushing pencils SMH. I always got him mixed up with Billy D. Williams. When I saw this guy in The Mandalorian I was looking up who he returned as. Action Jackson was one of my favorite campy movies as a kid. I would recommend it to anyone a fan of 80s action movies. Baby, you got a stew going. $1,100 is exactly what I charge for acting classes. He also trained Tobias Funk in acting. I'm guessing someone else identified that as well, but I'm not going through 700 posts. Dylan. You son of a bitch. TIL Carl Weathers was a former NFL player, then he told him how to make a stew. Baby, he got a stew going. Stallone also hired Dolph Lundgren when he was instantly jealous towards him when they met. He's got an impressive filmography, dating back to 1975. But how he ever managed to stay in the business beyond a year or two is a mystery to me. Worked with him for 2 seasons of Street Justice, and he couldn't remember a line to save his life. Take after take after take. How you treat people who disagree with you say a lot about who you are. I watched the film series growing up and contend that they were, and are, including the Creed films, great films. Can't wait to watch them with my young sons. He's right though, Stallone wasn't a real actor. That is part of what made the movie great. Stallone didn't seem like an actor playing a part, he seemed like a regular guy who was honestly doing something that he loved and believed in, and that came through in the movie. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Rocky was great, but he was money in Predator. The day Sylvester Stallone dies, is the day you'll see a grown man cry. Disney really botched casting Carl Weathers in The Mandalorian. Would have made an excellent Lando movie casting. My driver's ed teacher played football with him in the Canadian Football League and claimed he convinced Weathers to take up acting. My driver's ed teacher was also a moron. What may be missing here is the fact that Sly was a seriously talented writer and director, and that this Oscar-winning film was one of the best movies ever made. His insight was 1000% correct, can't imagine anyone else playing Apollo. I think of him more as a retired CFL linebacker, since he played 18 games for the BC Lions while he only played 8 games for the Oakland Raiders. Man, when I say something offensive, I never get the life-changing opportunity one have always dreamed of. You know who didn't get the part? Frank Stallone. Next time you're in a job interview, tell the hiring manager that they're not a real hiring manager.